What's up, folks? How's it going? This is Abhijit here, and welcome to Devops Challenge Jump. So let's start with today's interview question. And today we are going to start with AWS CodeDeploy. So we'll be discussing a few questions. So before we go to the first question, let's have a look at AWS CodeDeploy from AWS console. So there's the AWS CodeDeploy, automate code deployment to maintain application uptime. So using this code deploy, we can deploy our application. Let's give some name, web app. And we can choose the platform. We can deploy on EC2, on-premise, AWS Lambda, Amazon ECS. Okay. And then create application. Then we can create deployment group. So here we can give deployment group name, service role, and deployment type. Choose how to deploy your application, whether it will be in place or blue-green. So we'll be coming to all these questions. We'll discuss what is in place, what is blue-green deployment. Then then there is the environment configuration. Amazon EC2 auto-scaling group, Amazon EC2 instance. Select any combination of Amazon EC2 auto-scaling groups, Amazon EC2 instance, and on-premise instances to add to this deployment. Deployment settings, load balancer. Then there can be we can add some trigger, which is going to trigger this deployment. If you want to add some trigger, we can add that based on certain event. It can trigger this, right? It can trigger like instance starts, instance ready, etc. We can add some trigger. Alarms, based on certain alarms, we can trigger this. Add alarms to automatically stop deployment in this deployment group. We can add up to 10 alarms. Rollback, enable deployment rollback for this deployment group, disable rollback. Rollback when a deployment fails, or rollback when alarm threshold are met. So alarm threshold are met, then we can roll it back. So if alarm says that it's a failure, and we can roll it back. And this can trigger this code deploy. So now let's go to questions, interview question section. Tell me about your experience with AWS CodeDeploy and what is it? And how have you used it? So you can say that in last project we have used AWS CodeDeploy to automate and standardize our deployment process and across EC2 instance, on-premise server or Lambda based on your project. It may be only EC2, it may be Lambda, or it may be you have mix of all these. And I like this. What about about code deploy is it's a fully managed. So it saved us from writing custom scripts or orchestration. And it supports two types of deployment. And I have worked with both like in-place deployment and blue-green deployment. So in-place deployment, like it's a for on the EC2, it's app is stopped on the EC2, do the deployment, then start it. So there will be some downtime. Blue-green deployment, here create a new environment, do the app installation, then change the traffic. If it is a working file, then shut down the old one and route the traffic to the new one. So downtime is almost zero. Next question is, how do you decide in place of program? Which one will you go for and why? So that we decide based on the risk tolerance and criticality. If it's a critical, then we should go for a blue-green. If we want to reduce the risk, we can go for a blue-green. Obviously, it will cost more. So in place means it stops and update the existing one. So let's say Docker application running on EC2 instance. It will stop that Docker application, then update the Docker init, then start that again. So there will be some downtime, right? Downtime is possible. But blue-green, you have a brand new EC2 instance. Old one is going on, traffic is going on in the old one. The brand new install the Docker image and then you test little bit. And then once you are happy with it, then you can change the traffic to the new one. And they shut down the old one. So here downtime is nearly zero. Rollback is a manual slow because if it's not working, again you have to roll back, you have to stop the Docker, you have to uninstall this one, install the old package, old working version. But here, new one, if it is not working, and you just route in the traffic, and if for some reason it's not working, immediately will divert it back to the old one. Definitely, like you will see that new one is working fine for some time, and then only will shut down the old one. So if a new one is not working, you will shift the traffic back to the old one. So for example, in the retail launch, we use blue-green deployment with the Lambda to avoid disruptions during the peak hours. So what is your experience with deployment configuration? Any experience with Canary deployment? So what is Canary deployment? Canary deployment is a software release strategy where new version of the application is gradually rolled out. So it's not that new version is completely rolled out. Old traffic will be still traffic will be still maybe 90% traffic will still go to the old deployment, which is using the older version. New deployment, we will pass 10% traffic. We'll see how it is working. If it is working good, we'll increase to 20%, 50%, 75%, then 100%, right? It's not like fully 100% you move and then you see problem and all that everybody faces the problem and then you decide to switch back. So slowly you increase and see how it is working. So that's a canary deployment where you gradually rolled out to small subset of users before making it available to everyone. So gradually rolled out to a small subset of users before making it available to everyone. So that is the canary. So I've used the deployment configuration, especially with Lambda. One of my favorite is uh, code deploy Lambda canary 10% 5 minutes. So what it means, like I deployed this for Blue Green and for Lambda. So where I have used this configuration where 10% of the traffic will go to the new version for 5 minutes. And after that, if everything is okay, then 100% traffic will move to that new one. So that is the one. I also have used all at once. It's risky, but fast. All traffic will be moving. And then the linear 10% every 1 minute, good middle ground. So linear need 10% every 1 minute, it will shift the traffic. So old to new, linearly 10%, again 10%, again 10 more percent, again 10 more percent, like that will increase. So these are what I have used. So this is how you can answer this question. What is your experience uh, in deployment configuration and any experience with Canary? And let's see, Amazon documentation also you can see. Code deployment here is the app screen. Yeah, here you can see that ECS Canary 10% 5 minutes. Shift 10% traffic in the fast increment. The remaining 90% is deployed 5 minutes later. 10% in the fast increment, remaining 90% deployed 5 minutes later. Then we have let's say 10% 15 minutes. Linear 10% every 1 minute. Shift 10% traffic every minute until traffic is shifted. So these are the different options available, deployment configuration available. So you can say I have used some of them. And let's go to the other documentation, AWS documentation. So this is a blue-green deployment on AWS Lambda or AWS Amazon ECS compute platform. So these are the three different options: Canary, linear, all at once. Canary means slowly you are shifting. Linear, you're linearly shifting, and all at once, like all at once you're shifting. Okay, these are the like three types code deployment. What is code deployment? Benefits of AWS code deployment: serverless, and container application. Code deploy lets you to deploy both a traditional application and on servers or also on ECS and Lambda function. Automated deployment. It fully automates your application deployment across your development, test, and production environment. Minimize downtime because of that blue-green deployment. Stop and roll back. You can automatically or manually stop and roll back. Centralized control you have. You can launch and track the status of the deployment through code deploy console or AWS CLI. It's easy to adopt. Concurrent deployment is possible. So these are the advantages available. And they are the different compute platform you can deploy. This is to on-premise, AWS Lambda, Amazon ECS. Now let's go to the interview question. So next question is, how does deployment differ for EC2 versus Lambda? So EC2, it's a targeted server or virtual machines, and Lambda is a serverless function. EC2 is a slower because you have to stop the app, start the app, so it takes time. Lambda is a fast, it's just a code you're getting in your deployment. Right? So it's a serverless. So it's just simple traffic, that's it. And EC2, we have to traffic control through load balancer. Here, Lambda license, canary or linear, you can do. Here, rollback is manual. Here, instant rollback by alias switch. So this is the difference between EC2 and Lambda. And Lambda is a serverless one. Next interview question could be, speaking of app spec, can you walk through it? Or what are the things that are there in the app spec? So you can say app spec, it has a two sections, like one is a uh, file section where from source where you want to copy to the destination. From this source you want to copy to the destination, that is a file section. And the hook, what are the action you want to do, like application stop, to stop the application. Before install, you want to run some script. After installation, you want to do run some script. After installation, you want to again run something. Before you start the application, you want to run something, your own thing. Then you have to validate the service. So there are hooks and there are like files which copy the source to destination, and hooks then perform different activities. Each hook handles specific steps like stopping the app, and installing the dependencies, installing the service, running health, etc. Next question is, how did you handle rollback if something fails? So rollback, one is I showed you that on the UI we have uh, option rollback option is there. Like here rollback, you can check rollback when a deployment fails. So you can check that. Rollback when the alarm threshold are met. So the other options you can check. You can also do manually. So here, based on something health check, automatically it will roll back. If it gets error, it will be rolling back. And and manually also we do like we revert back to the previous successful revision version. We are successful last the successful version to via CLI to command line interface. We roll back. I tried both critical pipeline and manual rollback. This way you can answer. And what about database migration during deployment? How do you have any experience in database migration during deployment? So your main focus will be that we usually run DB migration in abstract lifecycle loop. So we discussed about this lifecycle loop. Right? So in the lifecycle loop, either before install or after install, we do the database migration. So there is in the there are lifecycle hooks in abstract before install, after install, and we do the migration there. We create a dedicated code build stage before code deploy. We have a dedicated stage for that, and we ensure. And if you have some experience, you have used some tools like Flyway and Liquibase or any other mechanism we have used in your company, you can mention that. But if for a code deploy perspective, using the hooks, we run some script to do data migration. Any tips you would to give someone who are implementing to code deploy, or what are the tips? What are the learnings you have from your experience for code deploy? So you can say that always test the deployment and staging using some hooks and steps. Test it before you go to production. Obviously, keep abstract YML and state under version control system. Then use CloudWatch alarms and code deploy events for monitoring purpose. Enable auto rollback for critical environment. You want to auto rollback. Practice deployment on test EC2 or dummy Lambda function before going live. So test it on staging environment, on dummy function, on dummy environment. And if it is working, then go live. Use alarm, use monitoring mechanism. Implement auto rollback for critical deployment. These are the tips I would like to share. Okay. So let's go to the quiz section. What are the two main types of deployment supported by AWS CodeDeploy? So two types of deployment supported by AWS CodeDeploy is Blue, green, and in place. The correct answer is B. You can stop and try to answer that quiz also. You can try that out. Which deployment type is best for high availability of production environment with zero downtime? To go for zero downtime, production, high availability, we have to go for blue-green deployment. Answer is C. Which of the following deployment configuration gradually shift 10% of traffic, waits 5 minutes before shifting the rest? 10% traffic it shift, 5 minutes, wait 5 minutes and shifting the rest. So it's not a linear one. And so every 1 minute linear is not the one. Canary. 10% 5 minutes. So answer will be C. Right? 10% it shifts after that, after 5 minutes it shifts the entire one. So it's a canary one. Linear means it will be linearly shifting. Yes, answer is C. Canary 10% 5 minutes. What role does AppSpec file play in an EC2 deployment by CodeDeploy? So AppSpec, what does it do? It specifies deployment scripts and file locations. How did the team handle database migration during deployment? So database migration, how do you handle? You handle using lifecycle hooks like before install or after install. The answer is C. So that's it for today. Hope you like this video. Please like, share, and comment. And subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also follow DevOps Challenge Hub page on LinkedIn. I organize quiz and contest daily. You can participate in that. And I post regular updates on WhatsApp channel. So you can follow my WhatsApp channel, DevOps Challenge Hub. And thank you for watching this video. See you again in the next video.